It is recording. Okay. So I am so excited to introduce you to my new friend, Nicole Bowdle. And she is a real estate agent and expert within Utah, specifically in the, I'm drawing a blank now, and that's really embarrassing, Park City, Utah resort area. And Nicole is going to just tell us a little bit about herself and go into what her busy real estate life looks like. So thanks for coming, Nicole. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a real estate agent in Park City, Utah. I hang my license with Berkshire Hathaway, and I have lived here my whole life. So I am a longtime local. I've lived here for 30 years. I'm married. We don't have any kids. So real estate is very much, my full-time job, and I love to ski. I love to snowboard. We are definitely avid skiers and avid boarders here. We like to enjoy the outdoors, and Utah has a lot of great national parks as well. So Park City is only about 4 to 5 hours away from like Zion's National Park, Bryce, Lake Powell, and you can even, you're a 4 or 5 hour drive even from Jackson or Yellowstone. So you've got some great road trip opportunities as well.
And so how close, for people that are considering thinking about either buying a home, a single family home, or maybe even a second home in Park City, Utah, how close is Park City to the closest airport? I'm assuming is in Salt Lake.
Yep. So Salt Lake International Airport just had a brand new remodel. They completely redid it, and you're about 30 minutes away, maybe 40 minutes if you're buying in Deer Valley, or if you're in, up in Glen Wild somewhere in the preserve, it takes you a little bit longer to get to your house, but really close. That's one thing I think that draws people to Park City is when they're thinking of a ski town, they're going, oh, we're similar to Jackson and Aspen, but I would say we are definitely more affordable than those areas as of now. And we're a lot closer to Salt Lake City and to an international airport. So the accessibility is a lot more attractive.
And that is the airport that people from all over the country would fly into to get access up to Park City.
Yep, okay. Salt Lake City International Airport. And then over in Heber, there's actually a little tiny airport that has smaller planes, so lots of private jets fly into there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, the reason I asked Nicole to come on today was we're definitely both seeing a trend with people either moving out of Southern California or really looking for a second home. Obviously, we're all working from home now, and it could be for a little longer. And so wouldn't it be neat if you had a second place that you could go that had some amazing recreational activities right out your front door? But there are people that are moving completely. It's not just a second home. Am I correct, Nicole?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The majority of people that I have helped, a lot of them are looking for investment properties or second homes, but there are many people that have basically like sheltered in place in their second home over the summer and all over the course of everything. Because I would say 80% of our, larger homes are, used maybe 20% of the time. And if you were in town this summer or driving around in October, which is normally like our mud season, like the summer people weren't leaving. Like everybody's lights were on the hillside. If you were driving down Jordan, like past Jordanelle, like Deer Crest, these are $20 million homes, every single light was on, so everyone is in town. And I think people too that had ski condos here were also like, this is such a great place. I'm sheltering in place in my ski condo. It's too small. So they're selling it and trying to find something bigger.
Yeah. So you have move up buyers.
Yep.
And I don't know anything about mud season. Would you mind sharing a little about mud season?
I don't know if we're going to have it, if it's going to ever come back, honestly, with everything that's going on. Yeah. But basically, Park City is a resort town. So we're really booming from June to September. And then usually after Labor Day, we kind of have our town back. And things don't start cooking again till around maybe Thanksgiving or when the ski resorts start to open. And then they go till about the beginning of April. And then usually April and May are very slow. And that's what we kind of call mud season. Some of the restaurants on Main Street will close because there's just not a lot of people walking around, but that was not the case this year.
Yeah.
Main Street, I think when people are thinking of Park City, they are really thinking of Main Street and the historic town with all the mining homes and all the shops and all the restaurants and the town lift that takes you up to Park City. Like when people think of Park City, that's what they're thinking of.
Sure. The really touristy part of it. It's still beautiful, but yeah, definitely. And so what would you say that Southern California people, that are thinking about either a second home or a true move up to Park City, what are some of the things that they can have to look forward to? And do you, what do you tell people about schools too? Those are a couple of questions I have.
Sure. Yeah. So Park City actually has some of the best schools in the state. So if you think about Park City, we are really two counties. We're Summit County and then we're Wasatch County. As far as the areas that we serve, it's called the Wasatch Back. And the Wasatch Front is Salt Lake, and the mountain range in Utah is the Wasatch Mountains, which is why it's kind of separated by the Wasatch Front and the Wasatch Back. So as far as school-wise, you've got, the Park City School District, and you also have the Wasatch School District. But because Heber is also growing at such a rapid pace, their schools are getting better as well. But Park City has some of the best schools in the state, and so that really draws people here. It's not a cheap place to live. The cost of living is relatively low, but when you're buying a home here, if you are in town, which is the 84060, which we consider kind of the McPolin White Barn. So if you've ever watched like American Idol, they always have shots of this white barn.
Okay.
So the White Barn kind of into town, which would be like Deer Valley, Park Meadows, Thanes, Prospector, Old Town. That area, you're going to be about $2.8 million for a single family home. Wow. Not to say that there's stuff that's not under that.
Okay.
There is, but that's about the price of a home in town. And then we also have kind of Snyderville Basin. So the 84060 has about 9 neighborhoods. And then you have kind of the second zip code, which is the other main zip code, which is the 84098, which we consider Snyderville Basin. So you've got Canyons Village, you have Old Ranch Road, Silver Creek area, Bear Hollow, Summit Park, Jeremy Ranch, Pine Brook, all of these areas. There's about 14 neighborhoods in this area, and it's about $1.6 million for a single family home. So it's less, but it's still a lot. And Kimball Junction is definitely kind of a newer heart of Park City. You kind of have the touristy things happening with Main Street and everything. And then you also have Kimball Junction where we've got, a Walmart, we have Whole Foods, we have a Bed Bath & Beyond, a TJ Maxx, so we've got restaurants out there as well.
Cool. Yeah. So the price points are not for everybody there.
No. Mm-mm. And I have a lot of people that contact me, what can I get for $500,000?
Right.
It's a condo. You're going to be in a condo.
Okay.
So, and there's lots of new developments going on, tons of luxury developments, especially at the canyons. The Montage is actually bringing in Pendry, which is kind of the next big development there. You've got studios, 2-4 beds there. It's ski in, ski out. Your price range is going to be anywhere from, I think it was $800K all the way up to $3.5 million. And it's going to be full ownership there. I think something to think about too is when people are thinking about investing in Park City, we have a lot of hotel condos, which confuse people. So we have condos and we have townhomes, and then we have like these hotel condos. So a hotel condo is basically like full ownership, but it's run by like a hotel management system. And the HOAs can differ a lot. They can be really expensive. And sometimes you're not always owning all of the things that are in that condo. So for instance, there are a couple of hotel condos at the Canyons Village that you only own airspace. You don't own any of the furnishings in there. And so I think that is something that people need to be aware of when they're it's such a diverse market because we've got single family, we've got the hotel, condo, resort style living stuff. And anything that you are interested in at the Canyons Village actually has a 2% buyer transfer fee because it goes to a kind of a whole base of like, they're running the transportation, they're taking care of all of this stuff. And it doesn't matter who comes in, like that's what you need to know. And sometimes the prices look really attractive because you're like, oh, there's a condo that's 2 bedrooms, 3 baths, and it's, 489,000. But then you realize you have a 2% buyer transfer fee on top of that.
Sure, sure.
So
So it just runs the gamut. You have to go in, do a little homework with you to see,
yes.
What's most affordable, but it sounds definitely like it's more of a higher end market.
Yes.
For anyone that thinks that they're going to find a bargain, in that part of Utah, it isn't, priced for that opening price point, or, a first-time buyer has to be an affluent or doing very well to be able to purchase that kind of property.
Exactly.
So, tell me, what the climate's like. Is it crazy like it is in Southern California right now?
Yes. So our average days on the market, I think, is like 9 days on the market. If a property is priced really well, it's in good condition. I mean, these are multi-million-dollar homes that have multiple offers on them. And we are 60% cash. So if you are financing, basically your offer, I always like to say too, like sometimes, because I truly believe that if the offer that's going to be the strongest, like the buyer that's most likely to close, it doesn't matter if make your offer as clean as possible right from the start. Some other things that we're seeing too is that we have so many offers going in that sometimes the seller will just accept it. Yep, let's go. And then all of a sudden they're getting better offers after that offer. And so they're looking for ways out of that contract because they actually don't want to be in contract with you anymore because they have a backup offer or another buyer who was cash. So that is something to be aware of too.
That sounds a little scary.
Yeah. And, and it's being in a rush as an agent. You've got to make sure that you have everything filled out correctly, that you're not missing any signatures. Because what's happening is if there's an initial missing or a signature missing, people that are buying up here are not first-time buyers. They've been in the game a while. They know what they're doing. They have teams, they have attorneys. They can take that contract to an attorney and ask if there's any way to get out.
Got it. Yeah. So that's why it's important to be
ironclad,
right?
Yeah.
And pick your team wisely. Someone that's good at what they do and can make good decisions, help you, guide you to make good decisions.
Yeah.
So
other thing too that I want to touch on is that with condos as well, condos are taking about, if you are getting financing, that's my cat. I'm sorry. She was like sound asleep earlier and now she's just like, I don't know, every time I am doing something, she's ready to go.
She's bombing you.
Yeah, so exactly. But if you're getting financing on a condo, you need to find a local lender because the big lenders do not know the projects like the local lenders do. And sometimes what you're trying to get, you won't even qualify for. And they're about a 50-day close. So when you're writing an offer and you're like trying to make it look good, oh, we'll do a 21-day close. It's financing, it's a condo. Well, no, it's not going to be a 21-day close. It's going to be a 50-day close. And so I really like to be honest about that up front and explain, hey, this is why this is going to take so long. And if you want to know, my lender will call you. And that's one thing that I really have a good relationship with my lender. He'll call the other agent and talk to the other agent. That's and he's done it for me twice. So.
And on that note, do you ask buyers that you're working with to start that lending process and to get the pre-approval and things like that done ahead of coming up, even to come visit places? So.
Yes. Absolutely. If you are thinking about buying here, and you're not a cash buyer and you know you need to get a loan for something, then get pre-approved right away, because there are some people that don't even want their home shown unless you have a pre-approval letter, just because of COVID. And
Yeah.
some people are still worried about that. And they're like, why would I let somebody in here who might not be qualified to buy
Yeah.
in the first place?
Yeah.
And then also, people are asking for proof of funds as well. So if you're a cash buyer, you need to be able to prove that you have that money.
Yeah.
And that's not something uncommon that people will ask for.
Good to know. So these are all things that I think you and I want people to know if they're thinking about, hooking up with Nicole. These are good things that you should know ahead. You're not going to be able to just jump in and go and visit a bunch of places like we used to with open houses and things. You have to do your due diligence ahead of time, and it makes the buying process a lot less stressful if you work ahead. So that's really,
I
really
think
smart.
getting used to video, like if you decide, we like her, we want to work with her. All of my out-of-state buyers have put offers in through video. Not one single person has come in person to see the house and put an offer in, because if they were to wait and do that, the house would be gone.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I had a lot of out-of-state buyers, even when we're traveling and we're having, he'll get sent a listing and say, I want to make an offer on it, and I'm not there. That's okay. I want it. This is the house. And, I've made offers in my car. Like, I will pull over and write offers for people because I know how important it is to get it in right away.
Right.
And if you can get it in before the other people, they're more likely to accept your offer.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so, just let's talk about like the last couple of months, like what some of your most.
Oh, I can't hear you. There you are. I couldn't hear you.
At the table with the Wi-Fi hub, and that's still happening.
No
Technology. So, did you hear kind of what I was asking, just to kind of run through a few recent sales, and we'll pop some pictures on top of what we're talking about?
Yeah, so majority of my sales have been in Park City, so in the Snyderville Basin area.
Okay.
And they have been out-of-state buyers who have bought condos and investment properties. I have a lot of clients who have decided to wait to list their house because they have nowhere to go. So on top of kind of talking about what buyers should expect coming here, we have really low inventory. And if a seller doesn't have anywhere to go, they are apprehensive about listing their house, because the sale side is going to go really smooth. But as far as the rental pool as well, we don't have a lot of rentals. So if they sell their house, they don't even know where they could rent if they want to stay in this area. And some sellers have also made the sale of their home contingent on them finding a new home. So that's something to realize too, that you could be, oh, we found this great house, but if they don't find a house, we don't get the house.
Right. Yeah.
So, but that's the majority of what I've been doing with sales. I also want to talk about something kind of big that's happening in our area. It's called the Mayflower Mountain Resort, and it's going to be a brand new ski area. And I think if you are thinking about coming to Park City, you need to have this on your radar, because obviously, like, real estate is an investment. It's a long-term thing. And many people are like, oh, it's outside of Park City. It's really 5 to 10 minutes away. Jordanelle is our little reservoir, and it's really not that far. Mm-hmm. But there's about 20,000 units that are proposed to be developed. And we have tons of new construction going on around here. You could find a condo for $500K. You can find, you can live in a private gated community of Tuhey, which is owned by Talisker, which is, golf course and clubhouse and tons of amenities. You've got, a restaurant on Main Street with ski lockers, a yurt at Empire Pass, the Tower Club. So there's a lot of variety for different people, and the other thing is that the Mayflower is going to be sort of a second base to Deer Valley. So this whole entire area, is kind of flying under the radar right now, just because you don't really have a Kimball Junction out there. You have to drive your car, so it's not on the bus route, which is kind of like, oh, if I'm in doing an investment property, I want to be on the bus route. I don't want to have somebody drive back and forth, but that's not to say that in the future there couldn't be grocery
Sure.
stores and
Right.
restaurants out there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something to keep your eye on, because it's going to make Heber do really well and Midway. And those are both areas that if you're kind of priced out of Park City that people start to look in. It's going to have 6 chairlifts. It is not going to be exactly part of Deer Valley. They kind of haven't decided, I think, how they're going to work that out yet. It's too soon, because Deer Valley only allows skiing, and this resort is going to be skiing and snowboarding. But one thing that's great about it is that it really benefits military people. So they want to give veterans a chance to have an affordable ski trip. So they're going to have like a 4-star hotel, a 5-star hotel, and they're going to reserve a percentage of those rooms for veteran military only people, which I think is great.
Huge. And
So
that should be a trend. I think that
yeah,
sounds very generous and well deserved, right? That's a cool thing to bring in a different set of eyeballs too, and they'll
mhm,
talk about it to their friends. How cool is that?
yeah. And there's another new development on the northwest side of Jordanelle called Sky Ridge. And right now it's kind of luxury home sites. It's starting to get cooking. They are going to basically put in a road called the Jordanelle Parkway, which is going to connect Highway 40 with Highway 224. So anything on Highway 224 is going to take you to Camas, Oakley, that area. And those areas are definitely farm country, ranchers, horse property. So if people are interested in that, that's kind of where you get the acreage and the land. And then it's going to connect that with Highway 40, which is what takes you down to Heber. And
Okay.
so it's called the Jordanelle Parkway. And it's going to be a great place to put your money, in my opinion, because it's just going to grow. I mean, they have over 20,000 units planned around this Jordanelle. I don't know if they'll all get built.
Mm.
But Sky Ridge has lots that range from 227,000 all the way up to 700,000. The more expensive lots are closer to the lake. So basically you're getting lakeside living and you're getting mountain living, and you are literally, you just go under a little bridge. They're creating a whole new bridge so that you don't have to cross the freeway to get to Deer Valley.
How fun.
And yeah, so just kind of to put it in perspective, like the Mayflower is next to Deer Crest, which is
Okay.
kind of like the very high-end private gated community of Deer Valley, which sits on the Jordanelle side and overlooks the Jordanelle Reservoir. But they're going to have, one thing that's great about this development is very low HOAs. So it's $185 a month, and you get a clubhouse, an equestrian center, a golf academy, and the only thing that is for owners only, like there will be an owners only clubhouse with a fitness center and things, but the majority of the things will be open to the public as well.
Smart.
So that's a great place if you want to build a house, I think. And then, you know, if you are thinking about building too, you're running for a luxury home, you're about $600 per square foot and up if you want luxury and high-end finishes. If you want lower end finishes, you're probably going to be in the 400 per square foot range. $400.
Okay. That's a good range. And
Yeah.
then, you could really see that where you could go with that. So good to know. Good to know. And what are you seeing, or do you have like a certain number of people coming from Southern California and this is what they've picked out? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Southern California, excuse me, Southern California seems to love contemporary.
Okay.
So things that I have noticed, I've only really had one buyer that was like, we're okay with traditional.
Okay.
Majority of people want the new construction. They want the clean finishes. They don't want Smokey the Bear logs. They don't want the log cabin.
Yeah.
They really want something more contemporary looking. And that's just what I've noticed and what I've experienced with
Okay.
California buyers. I mean, not to say that there's, different tastes out there, but the majority of them are looking for really clean mountain contemporary.
Okay. And is there product for them? Like
Yeah,
to fill that
absolutely.
need? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be
Newer,
more in the 2
fancier,
million,
right?
it's going to be 2 million and up for something like that.
Wow. All
So
right.
things that, I mean, if you're looking for a good family that are like primary residents, that are year-round people that live here year-round, those
Mhm.
neighborhoods are like Park Meadows, Silver Springs area, Ranch Place, Jeremy, Summit Park, and Pine Brook. But the thing that you're getting with some of these homes is that they're 25 to 30 years old. So if they haven't been completely remodeled, you're going to need to do a little bit of updating and add kind of your touch on it. And that's just something to be expected.
Mhm.
It's we've got like these 90s styled homes that have a lot of tan finishes.
Right. Oak cabinets and things like that. And
Yes.
but that also offers somebody to come in and not pay for someone else's upgrades that you don't love, and maybe a lower price, at
Yep.
least to get you into the house, and then you can do those nice things when you
Exactly.
earn some equity.
Yeah, I think, a condo, if you're more in the $500,000 range, you're going to be in a condo. If you're more in the $700,000 range, you're going to be in a townhome. And if you can at least have $1 million budget, then you're going to be able to get into a house.
Okay.
So,
So,
but
you know, it
yeah, but
really
there's
isn't
also
much.
Heber and Midway. So you could easily find a new construction home in Heber for 600K, brand new.
And that's a great, transition, because, that seems to be a fairly opening price point.
Mhm.
And you probably get a lot more money, or excuse me, a lot more house,
Yep,
and a lot
absolutely.
more opportunities to ski and to go to the mountains and have some more outdoors life.
Yeah.
Um, and closer to nature than you might be here in Long Beach or Lakewood at 600,000 in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house that needs a lot of love.
Yeah.
So we'll have to put some pictures of what those homes look like for people to take
Sure.
a look at. So
Yeah.
so I'm just going to wrap it up, Nicole, and just, I'm so grateful for your time. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows down below how to get in touch with you, and I'll also put it across the screen. And, people in Southern California, this is why we're doing this video, so you don't have to go at these things alone. You don't have to work with a stranger. If you need help being introduced to someone who knows Park City like the back of her hand, or like she's lived there her whole life, you need
Yep.
to talk to Nicole. So thanks so much, Nicole. I really appreciate your time. And we'll just sign off. Have a great day, everybody.
You too. All right.